What's up, you guys? Teddy Striker here, and this Saturday, Lerone Murphy is taking on Evloev in London, and I'm very excited for this card. So here are my predictions for all the fights on the main card, starting with Curtis Campbell versus Danny Silva. I'm gonna go with Danny Silva getting this done by decision. I feel like he's the far better striker. Curtis Campbell has some strong grappling, and we have seen Danny Silva get briefly taken down by Kevin Vallejos, but he was able to work his way right back up to his feet, and I think he'll be able to work his way back to his feet. Curtis Campbell does like attack with ground and pound. He's got some clean ground and pound when he gets you down, but I feel like that's going to leave some openings for Danny Silva to get back up to his feet. And on the feet, I feel like Danny Silva's a cleaner striker. He's got great defense and great combinations, and I think he's going to be able to give Curtis Campbell his first loss and win this fight by decision. Moving on to Christian Leroy Duncan taking on Roman Deitz, and I'm going to go with Christian Leroy Duncan getting this done by first round KO. He's got way better striking than Roman Deitz. He's got a lot of power, a lot of speed, and recently he's been fighting with a lot more aggression ever since 2024, where he had that loss to Gregor Rodriguez, and he had his kind of old style where he was a little bit more of a point fighter, but now he's become a lot more aggressive. He's finishing fights with crazy spinning attacks, and I think he's going to be able to put down Roman Deitz with a clean right hand. He's got that opening, and I don't think Deitz is going to be getting any takedowns. I just feel like he's too slow and too stiff in there, and he's going to be getting clipped with something. He is very hittable, so I think CLD Christian Leroy Duncan will get a first round KO here. But moving on to Austin Lane taking on Boneski, and I'm going to go with Boneski getting this done by another first round KO. I feel like Austin Lane is very chinny, and now he's moving down to the light heavyweight division, and I think we're going to see him get knocked out again. He is big and powerful, but we have seen Iwo in his last fight take some big shots off of Abu Islam, and he was staying calculated and picking his shots, and eventually was able to knock him out. And he's got a lot of power in his hands. He got I believe it was like a 20-second KO on Dana White's Contender Series, and I do think he is going to find the chin of Austin Lane in that first round. And this might be Austin Lane's last fight, because this would be his third loss in a row, with all three being finishes. But moving on to Michael Venom Page taking on Sam Patterson, and I'm going to go with Michael Venom Page getting his first UFC KO in the second round. I do think that Sam Patterson is a good fighter, but MVP is just so hard to deal with for anyone. Honestly, he's just got such an awkward style. You would think that it'd be kind of simple, like make sure you kick his legs, throw punches, and then follow up with head kicks, but no one has been able to really implement that game plan against MVP and be effective, and I don't think that Sam Patterson is going to be doing that. I feel like Sam Patterson is quite hittable. He has got some power in his hands, to be fair to him, but I do think that MVP is going to be able to find his chin. Sometimes Sam Patterson doesn't really tuck his chin. He kind of keeps his chin up there, and he'll like maybe evade shots, but MVP is the same size as him. Like, they're both 6'3", so MVP is going to be able to reach him, whereas other fighters might not be able to, and I think MVP is going to have the speed advantage in this fight, and also the power advantage. I mean, MVP is a big welterweight. Apparently, this guy, like, when he's outside of training camp, he's like 100 plus kilos. Like, he's 106 kilos when he's out of camp, and that's like about like 220, 230 pounds. Like, that is actually unreal. He's actually like a really big guy, like fought at middleweight, and I think he's going to be able to hurt Sam Patterson. I think Sam Patterson should try to grapple with him. We did see that MVP wasn't able to get back to his feet against Jared Cannonier, and Ian Gary has had his way with him on the ground as well. So I think that could be a path to victory, but I expect MVP to be ready for that and keep the fight on the feet and ultimately knock out Sam Patterson in the second round. Moving on to Luke Riley taking on Mike as well, and I'm going to go for Luke Riley getting this done by a third round TKO. I think he's got like crazy power for featherweight, and he's got clean technique on his punches as well. He's got great kickboxing, and Mike as well, I feel like he's a little bit too one-dimensional. Like, he'll come in there with a boxing approach, but he's mainly a headhunting in there, and he doesn't have like too much power or too much speed. And I feel like he would benefit a lot more from like being more of a mixed martial artist. I think like Luke Riley does have a hole in his game, and that's like the grappling. But I don't think Mike Aswell is going to be looking to mix it up that much. I think he's going to fight how he always fights, and that's with that boxing style. And I think eventually Luke Riley is going to catch him and hurt him with something, and I think we're going to see a TKO stoppage from him. But moving on to the main event, Lerone Murphy versus Movsar Evloev. Somebody though has got to go, and I think Lerone Murphy will lose this fight. I think Movsar Evloev has the X factor in this fight, and that's the grappling. I feel like he is going to be able to out-wrestle and out-grapple Lerone Murphy for portions of that fight. And I don't think that Movsar Evloev is a bad striker at all. I think he's actually pretty good, and I don't think that on the feet I don't think that this fight is only a matter of, oh, Lerone just has to defend the takedown and then he's fine. No, I think he's got to be worried about the striking as well, because the truth is, Movsar Evloev was out-striking Arnold Allen. He was out-striking Diego Lopez, and he was out-striking Dan Ige, a guy who nearly knocked out Lerone Murphy. So Lerone can't go into this fight thinking it's just going to be a matter of, can I defend the takedown? And if I defend the takedown, it's easy work from there. No, I think it's going to be a well-rounded threat, and I think it's just going to be too much for Lerone to deal with. I don't think he's going to be able to time him with big shots. Movsar is a very smart fighter. He's 19-0 for a reason, and I think he's going to get himself a 49-46 unanimous decision victory and finally get his title shot against Alexander Volkanovski. But let me know your thoughts down below. Who do you think is winning the main event? But with all that being said, thank you guys for watching. God bless. Make sure you guys like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.
Peace in our time.